Good morning, everybody, and welcome to CryptoTrader's Room. And as majority of you know, CryptoTrader's Room is a place where we eat, drink, sleep, drink, trade, and invest in cryptocurrency. I guess you guys can tell that it's Monday. But before we get started, just a little disclaimer, and let's just say, remind everybody that I'm not a licensed financial advisor, and what I do talk about in these videos are not to be used as trading advice. And if that is something you're looking for, please consult a licensed financial advisor. And that the information on these videos is to only be used as educational purposes only. With that being said, I definitely want to welcome you guys. Happy Monday. Hope everybody's doing well. But what is going on in the cryptocurrency world? A lot. We didn't get a big dump or a major move to the downside this past weekend, which I think a lot of us kind of expected something to happen this weekend, but everything kind of maintained where it's supposed to be. And I am very surprised that it's hovering at the exact range as it was on Friday. So is this the calm before the storm? Only time will tell. It all depends, how bloated we get. And, with everything getting ready to hit all-time highs, especially with Ethereum hitting, all-time highs and really getting up to that 249. Yes, it's pulled back. It's down $10 from its all-time high, but for it to still be maintaining these levels is pretty impressive, to be honest with you. And that $10 difference I was talking about was just basically on Bitfenix. We'll be taking a look at Coinbase though, because the majority of my funds are on Coinbase. But welcome to everybody that's joining. And if you haven't done so already, please click on that subscribe button, as well as the post notification so that you're notified every time a video is uploaded. And don't forget to connect with us. Sign up for our mailing list. And you can go to CryptoTradersRoom.com. And there are links at the bottom of this video for everything that I kind of described. But sign up for our mailing list, which will give you access to our free general chat room. Now, just remember, it's a free general chat room where you can definitely keep this conversation going about cryptocurrency. It is available 24/7. There are people from just basically all over the world. So, there should definitely be somebody there chatting away or looking to chat with somebody about cryptocurrency. But you could also stay connected with us on Steemit, Twitter, as well as Facebook. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the overall cryptocurrency and take a look and see exactly what they're doing. Market cap, almost 95 billion. That's really huge, compared to where we were just not long ago, probably a month ago. But getting close to that $100 billion mark, and of course with BTC having that dominance of 44.4. So it has come down a little bit where BTC was. It did have a little over 45% dominance. So that basically tells you that some of the alts are, gaining market cap and gaining some traction, which there are, 740 different cryptocurrencies out there. So a lot of these little coins are definitely being pumped to kind of increase their market cap and to basically lower BTC's dominance to 44.4. But we'll see exactly how long those pumps will last for. If there's a big dump that happens in alts, then of course, BTC will definitely gain more of that dominance to at least over 50% dominance. But we got, BTC in the lead. Of course, it's always going to be in the lead with a 42% market cap. I'm sorry, 42 billion market cap. Ethereum second with 22.8, Ripple 11.9, and of course the float has gotten lower to 38.6 billion. NIM, Ethereum Classic, Litecoin, Dash, Stratus, Monero. These are all the ones that have kind of regained the top 10 cryptocurrencies. But I'm hoping you guys can hear me. And if you're new, don't be shy. Say what's up. I'm not sure who we have in the room. We do have a good amount of people joining right now, but don't be shy and say what's up. All right, but overall, kind of on Crypto Watch, BTC's up 3%, LTC a little under 3%, Ethereum, 0.78%. Monero is definitely making a comeback. Hopefully, we'll see if she gets above that $50 at 6.8% almost. Zcash, very impressive, 11%. This has made a huge run from the under $20 that we were looking at it when I was first starting to do live streams. For it to be 257, it's definitely taken a huge lead over Dash in the sense of price, not market cap, but price. And of course, Rep, it's just been a huge winner. Nothing to the upside for Rep. 15.38% that is up today, $31.15. This just keeps making all new time highs consistently. And it hasn't really corrected. We haven't had a major correction on Rep, except from when everything kind of fell, especially when BTC fell to that 1900. Yeah, everything came down with it. But it's definitely regained what it was. A lot of these altcoins, from where they were after that big drop, they've definitely made a huge comeback. So are they gearing up for another bubble, for another drop? It's a possibility. Things are getting very inflated, in my opinion. And I think this is just a calm before the storm. BTC definitely had an issue today, making hitting that above 2,600. And I think she did get to a little above 2,600, but got pushed right back down. That's exactly what she did. Right up here. Got exactly to 2,600. Let's see if this was 2,600. This is 2,599. So that happened to be a resistance for it. It peaked at that 26 and then pulled right back, but the pullback wasn't anything major. It's still uptrending from where it came down to from hitting that 2,600. But all in all, I mean, Bitcoin has been very surprising, moving up from that 1913 all the way to this current level of 2,588. And it's a nice upward move. It's not a parabolic straight move that we've had. Especially right up here in this range here. I mean, this was just a crazy move from that 2,000 to 2,800 within a matter of 2 days. So this is a nice gradual move to the upside. And let me know if you guys can hear me, because we do have a good amount of people, but nobody's chatting. So I want to make sure that at least you guys can hear me before I really get into this. And I have done a good amount of talking. Audio's on. Perfect. I know. Thank you so much. And welcome to the channel. I appreciate it. David, welcome. Hope you guys had a great weekend. But today I guess we'll see if BTC can really break out above that 26. Like I said, right now she's really having a hard time kind of maintaining that momentum and breaking out above that 2,600 and breaking out with a vengeance and not just really touching and then coming right back down and consolidating. In order for this to really get above that 2,800, we got to see some really good upside move, and it's just really got to break out with a vengeance. But I think the problem that we're going to run into is, if she does get to 2,800, which I'm sure she will, these cryptocurrencies have been really defying every odd that's out there. So she will get up to that 2,800. But what I assume is going to happen when she gets that 2,800 is, you're going to have people that probably bought in the 26, 27, possibly 2,800. I mean, there was somebody that bought at 2,800 and they didn't cut their loss. At 2,800, they might be looking to kind of break even because they're afraid that it's going to hit that 2,800 and dip. So we are going to have a good amount of sellers, either somebody that bought at 2,800 looking to kind of just break even, or the people that really bought in the 2,000 range, 2,100, 2,200. Are they going to be looking to take profit at that exact 2,800, the high that it hit, or 2,806 was the high that it hit? So more than likely, if we do get that to that 2,800, I can see some sort of pullback, possibly back to that 2,500, where it's just been kind of consolidating within that range for a good amount of time recently. So only time will tell, whether people are going to be selling or, if they're going to expect a bigger move to the upside, and hopefully, in hopes that it gets up to 3,000. But we'll see. Just waking up, got to get more coffee. Yeah, I'm drinking my coffee. It's 9:30 in the morning where I'm at. But yeah, a strong cup of Starbucks coffee is always good. ETC, yes, we'll definitely take a look at Ethereum. I've mentioned before, I'd like Ethereum. Gene, thank you so much. I'm glad you can hear me. But yeah, we'll definitely take a look at Ethereum because I'm still holding 150 from Ethereum. And I feel as though she can be ready to gear up for another pump to that 22. At least she's going to test the 22. Whether she's going to pull back from 22, who knows? It all depends on volume and who's going to be chasing it once it does get to that $22 range. And there are people that bought it at 22 as well too. And if they didn't cut their loss, they might as well be looking to cut their loss at, or minimize their loss, or kind of break even at that $22.78 or $22 range. But hey, I'm still holding on to it. I don't think I'll be selling until it actually kind of gets to its all-time high. But yeah, we're looking at about 1647 currently right now on Ethereum Classic. But she did hit 17, so but yeah, I mean that 17 happens to be a somewhat of a resistance, and we'll take a look at it. We'll chart it out, and I think I did chart it out last time on Bitfenix, and we'll take a look at the same support and resistance that I plotted out and see how she maintained, within those support and resistance lines. But yeah, I would like to take a position today in Ethereum. Actually, I'm sorry, not Ethereum, Litecoin. So I've had an order in for 23.54, but it's probably not going to get to 23.54. So if she at least dips to 25, I'd be happy with taking a little bit of a position at 25. But only time will tell to see if she gets there. But there hasn't been any volatility. I mean, things have been kind of stagnant. Yeah, a little drop here and there if you were just basically scalping, but if you're looking for a bigger slice of the pie in the sense of a bigger profit, we really haven't had any dips to take advantage of. Everything's just kind of been, grinding nicely to the upside, pulling back a little bit with profit takers, but nothing extreme, nothing crazy, nothing to really be worried about. Good morning, Jonathan. Welcome, sir. Hope you had a great weekend. Yes, Ethereum Classic, Andreas. Maybe I said Ethereum. I probably did. All right, but yeah, let's really take a look at Ethereum Classic, considering I do have still a sizable position. I mean, it might not be a lot as a lot of other people might have, but to me, 150 is pretty sizable. Let's see if we can change this up just a little bit. All right, Ethereum Classic, and let me get rid of the RSI. We'll take a look at the RSI later and see exactly where it is in position to the actual price point. But a couple places, of course, where it does have support. And, I will be looking to take a position in Ethereum Classic again if she gets to the point that I'm looking at. And it's a very strong support line. And that support line is really going to be where a lot of this battle happened between the bears and the bulls. And basically, we that $14 range, I know it says 1382, but let me move that up to the $14 range. Really, that 14 is going to be a good entry for me. Might not be a good entry for a lot of people, but that's where I would be looking to kind of take position. So the first green arrow, it dipped to that 14 exactly, came right back up with a vengeance. That's a very indicates, well, at that point, it wasn't really indicating a strong support, but there was a couple other different points where it touched that line and then came right back up. Second arrow touched that 14, came right back up. And of course, we had that crazy dip with everything else falling. And of course, it broke that support line and it broke it heavily. But, came back up and maintained it. And a good amount of fighting, good amount of battle happened between the bears and the bulls right in this range here, as well as in this range here. When it did pull back down, the bulls basically brought it right back up and it maintained that $14 and right above it. And of course, we had a nice run up, but then came back down. Didn't touch 14, but got close to it. So that indicates to me that somewhere around the $14 range is going to be a very strong support for me to take a position in for a possible push to the resistance. So we got the support of $14 that I'm looking for an entry. Resistance really is going to be that 1750-ish, maybe a little over 1750, but we'll just say 1750 to be on the safe side. And as you guys can see, first red arrow, it touched that 1750, pulled back heavily with everything else pulling back. So that was basically first attempt to break out above the 1750. But with everything else going down, we kind of expected that to happen. Second attempt, right up here with the second red arrow, attempted to break out above it, got pulled back down to that support of close to 14. Third attempt, attempted to break out above it, couldn't do it, pulled back down. So really that's the range that it's been kind of playing ever since the 29th. So for the past couple of days, it's just been the range of 14 to 1750. So if she gets close to 14, my reward versus my risk is going to be a lot better. Considering she has the ability to get up to 1750, and I would be looking at selling at 1750. But we know that there's going to be a good amount of support based on how close it got into that $14 range before pulling back up. So we'll see what she's going to do. If she'll get right up to that 1750 and pull back again, or if she's going to pull back further and get close to that $14 range for me to take a position in. And it's probably not going to be that big of a position. Maybe I don't know, less than 100 probably that I'll end up buying. And then, if I get in at 14, 1750, I would be looking to sell what I bought at 14, but still maintain what I have, the 150 from before. RSI, let's take a look. RSI currently at 50, so happy medium, right in that range there. If it was close to the 75, 80, then yeah, I would be a little concerned that this would be kind of the high, and there'd be sellers looking to cash in and bring that price point back down to the $14 range. But it is at a happy medium of 50. So it's really maintaining its price with nothing to really kind of get excited about. At this price point, I'm not really too excited about it unless she really starts to dip. For $10 would be great to get in, but to be honest with you, I doubt she's going to give us that $10 level. We might not even see before, below 10, to be honest with you guys, unless something crazy happens with a major sell-off, a major hack. But then, yeah, everything else would come kind of tumbling down. It'd be a domino effect with all the cryptocurrencies. So you really got to tread with caution at these price levels, because anything could happen. Let me see if I can get to some of the comments. Alex, good morning. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's ETC. So, we do have the support and resistance, the trend that is actually playing between the 14 and 1750. That's kind of what I'll be looking for this week, unless something crazy is happening, which would tell me not to get in at that $14 price point. If BTC starts to tank and everything's tanking, then yeah, I would not be looking at that 14. I'd be looking to see what it would do close to the $12 range. But $10, that's something I would kind of throw my hat and my shoes at it. I think $14 would be a great, I think $10 would be a great entry. I just doubt we'll see that price point. Let me know if you guys have any questions about ETC. But yeah, I do have, I guess I've had this for a couple of days now, ever since May 27th, to sell 50 at 1750, and then I have a high sell price for the other that's left, 100 that's left at $30. But yeah, so 1750, I will be looking at getting rid of a 50, considering that's just a strong resistance. It's already proved it to me, 3 times. There's no sense in me not locking in some sort of profit and hoping that it would dip back down to possibly the 15 or 14 would be great, because then I would be looking at getting into a position. Logan, we'll definitely look at Bitcoin chart, man. We will definitely look at it. I definitely would love to get an entry at Bitcoin, 2100. I would love to. Shout out from South Africa. Nice. The motherland. That's the continent that I'm from. Born and raised. Let's see, Jonathan, if Omni looks like a flagpole, and maybe explain flag pattern or flagpole. Yeah, we could do that. Let me take a look at, I don't know if they're on Poloniex. And the only thing that sucks about Poloniex is I really can't draw out any trend lines. But we'll also access Bittrex. All right, they are on Poloniex. Let's see which chart's going to be better. Omni's down about a little under 7%. I don't know about a flag pattern there. Let's see. It's a very long flag pattern, but it does look like it's bottoming out. Let's get a little more granular on this. Yeah, consider she hasn't crashed under the 0.02. Yeah, I wish I could draw. Yeah, I mean, this would be flagging. And one thing that, what I do like about flag pattern is basically, a flag pattern is a flag pattern. It's exactly what it is. It basically, you have the pole. Let's see, I wish I could enlarge this. So we basically have the flag pole, which goes from the top down to the bottom here. And then, if I was able to draw on this, I would take basically a line from the top down to currently where it is, and then take another one right about here, I would say, and then take another line right to the current price. Unfortunately, they don't allow me to draw. And one thing I do like about flag and pattern is that the ranges get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. So basically, when it gets to that V, to that edge of the triangle, it gets wedged. And when it gets wedged, now it's not all the time. This is not, a crystal ball to say this is exactly what's going to happen. But the probability of it getting a nice uptick is more favorable when the ranges are getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And that's exactly what's happening here. I mean, before the range was, from, let's just say 0.019 all the way up to 0.034, and as it started to move, it started to get tighter. The ranges got tighter and tighter and tighter, and it's probably at its tightest range right now, I would say. So as long as volume is there, as long as the buyers want to support it, and that there isn't a big seller sitting on the sideline waiting to unload because they just think it's completely dipping on them, and they're up huge already, and they could have been up a lot bigger, but they didn't sell at the top. They might be looking to lock in the profit. So if that's the case, then yes, it would cause more of a dip. But if buyers kind of, if traders see this and they're playing the flag pattern, the flag wedge, then yes, they will be there to support it, and you can get a nice little violent uptick, and it could really uptick to possibly this resistance right up here, which would be about the 0.026, if she does have the volume to support it. But I do like how she's kind of leveling out now and not really breaking below the 0.02. But yeah, this will be a flag pattern. But yeah, good spot, Jonathan. Good spot. And then this is definitely what I'd like to see, on the chat room. You guys sharing information like this, because we're all going to be looking at different cryptocurrencies, different exchanges. We're not going to be looking at the same thing. And if you're able to spot these type of patterns and inform the group, then they can kind of look at it, analyze it, and kind of come up with an informed decision whether it's a good opportunity for them to take the trade, or they're going to wait it out and maybe dips further. But this is great, Jonathan. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you sharing that with us. All right, let's see. I know I missed some of the comments, but Logan, we'll definitely get to BTC. Show me the money. Yes, dude. The money's there. You just got to find a good entry. That's what this is all about, is it's basically, plotting out the support, the resistance, looking at some patterns, and coming up with a well thought out probability of what it's going to do. And as long as, you factor in all the different types of probabilities, yes, there is money to be made. It definitely is, but you really can't go. I mean, you can, I guess, with some of these cryptocurrencies, because they've defied every logic that's out there. I mean, it doesn't really matter. At one point, you could probably put money into anything, and it would go up like crazy. So these cryptocurrencies have defied everything. So I mean, yeah, you could easily put money into it blindly, and it ends up going up like crazy. I think a lot of people were buying these, dirt cheap, 1 Satoshi, 2 Satoshi coins, and look where they are now, and 200-300 Satoshis. Some of them even a lot higher than that. But yeah, the money's there in crypto. It definitely is. It's there more in crypto than it is in the traditional financial market. FCT is going to the moon. We'll take a look at FCT. I think somebody asked me to take a look at that a while back. Let's see if FCT is even on. It doesn't seem to be on Bittrex for some reason. I thought it was. Yeah, it's definitely making a nice parabolic move to the upside. Yeah, I just don't like where this current candlestick is in comparison to the previous candlestick's closing price. That's the only thing I don't like about it. This is a possibility where it could maybe pull down to 0.008. Anywhere between 0.008 to 0.0075, possibly 78. But yeah, this would be a lot more bullish if the current candlestick opening price was above or at the previous candlestick's closing price. But BTC, let's take a look at it. I'll get to some of the comments and then we'll cover BTC. Yeah, I think volume has been low this past weekend. That's why we really didn't get any crazy moves to the upside or downside. Little corrections here and there, but nothing that would have caught my interest and said, "Oh, this would be a great opportunity to get in." I was looking for BTC at 23.50, and I had an order in over the past weekend since I wasn't really glued into my computer. But of course, yeah, it didn't get to that that buy-in price. But yeah, it would have definitely executed. I think I was looking to get, I think it was eight BTCs. 2364 was where I put the order in. $2,364.26 to buy 8. But of course, it never got to that. It would have been great because then that that would have been a $1,600 profit, 200 per coin. My thoughts on Radium? I don't know. We'll take a look at the chart. We'll definitely. I'll try to remember to do that after BTC. Why is there a time limit on the live stream? I didn't know there was a time limit. Oh, you mean when I'm doing a live stream from 9:30 to 11? Is that what you mean? Because yeah, normally I do these live streams from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. But considering I'm moving, I do have the landlord coming in with a couple of tenants to show the place. So I didn't want to be doing a live stream as they're walking around and talking loud. So yeah, this live stream today, unfortunately, will be a half hour short than normal. So I'll be ending it at 11. Radium seems to be in a triangle, ready for another dip or upside. Yeah, we'll see. I'll take a look at it. Yeah, please remind me if I forget, especially after covering BTC. I'll definitely take a look at Radium. Live trading with Jesse Eisenberg. I don't know who Jesse Eisenberg is. Yeah, Logan, I'm glad that's doing well for you, man. That is awesome. You deserve it, man. You've worked hard on a lot of these trades and really stuck to your plan, and knew when to take profit, knew how to be happy with them, and I'm glad that's doing well for you. As long as you stick to your plan, you're consistent with it. You will end up hitting those home runs. Nobel Prize, definitely welcome, and join our mailing list. We'll give you access to our free general chat room. But as time goes on, we will be coming out with a one-on-one step guide on trading. I'll be doing like mentorship program, one-on-one personalized programs, really whatever it is that you want to learn within that hour. So definitely sign up for our mailing list. It'll give you access to our free general chat room, and then we'll be sending out information. Matt, welcome, buddy. Question is, what do I think about arbitrage starting with Bitfenix being much lower than other BTC exchanges? Trade and sell, $50 to $70 offset for extended periods of time. Arbitrage is great, man. I love arbitraging. If the profit is there, but you also got to consider the possible lag time on the transfer. I've given an example before where I had a $1,500 profit because of the price difference on Ethereum, bought it on Bitfinex, transferred it. It got to Coinbase within 5 minutes, which is great. And I was surprised at that 5 minutes. But then Coinbase held it for 15 minutes in addition to them receiving it. So for 20 minutes, I had to sit there and wait. And within that 20 minutes, I mean, the price was dropping to where that $1,500 profit ended up turning into a $500 unrealized profit. Because I didn't sell at that $500 profit, but I did sell some in increments, and I have a little bit left. But yeah, so it all really depends on that time of transfer. I mean, if it can't get to that exchange in time, and that exchange is not releasing it to you, it kind of defeats the purpose of arbitrage. I mean, the one time I transferred Litecoin from GDAX to Bitfinex, it took 4.5 hours. So that was a complete arbitrage failure. Price target for ETH, I don't know. It all depends on what time frame. I mean, end of the year, I would love to see 500, and I think it can do 500 by end of year. There's really no reason that it's minimum, not worth, $500. It should at least be somewhere in the range of a quarter of the price of BTC. Excuse me. But all right, let's go ahead and take a look at BTC. I did promise Logan I'll take a look at that. And of course, these are the same, support and resistance that I drew out, I don't know, sometime last week. So let's take a look and see exactly what it did in comparison to the support and resistance. And of course, it did have a good amount of resistance. That was at that 2360-ish, somewhere in that range, considering twice it attempted. It got knocked back down, but it did break out above it right up here. And when it broke out above it, it really maintained it and stayed above it and got up to that 28.44 before pulling back down just a little bit. It's not a major pull. Got to 23.18. So really, yes, it broke the prior resistance that formed as a new support right up here with 3 candlesticks kind of hovering above it, but it did pull back down, but it came right back up right above it. So a lot of times, they are going to break support, or they are going to break resistance, and then they'll just come right back up. And that's exactly what it did here. It broke it, selling just intensified a little bit, but buyers brought it right back up and really maintained it above that 23.60. And that was as of June 1st. I'm sorry. Yeah, June 1st. So ever since really June 1st, it's hovered above that prior resistance of 23.60 and maintained it above it. And it's really having a hard time. So basically, next resistance was at 24.90-ish. And that's exactly what it did. When it broke the prior resistance, it got right up to its next resistance that I drew out last week, hit it, really touched 24.60, exactly to a T. That was a high before pulling back down. And then basically right up here, it wanted to find its direction, and it really couldn't find its direction. And that's why it really hugged that line. And these are 1 hour candlestick charts. So we're looking at almost 4 hours of it really just maintaining that 24.89 looks like. I'm sorry, what was the high on this one? 24.88. So 24.60 was a low, but 24.88 was the prior resistance, and it hit it, pulled back down, and that's exactly what it did up here. It just kind of maintained it to find direction, and of course, somebody got tired of it not really moving and decided, hey, you know what? I bought it at 24. It's at 24.80, 24.90. I'm going to take position, or I'm going to take profit, and that's what they might have done to pull it back. But when it did break out, it broke out above it with a vengeance, and one red candlestick basically out of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 hours worth of price movement. So that's not bad at all. So there was a lot of momentum, even though volume wasn't that high. If we really look at volume, we stayed under 500 per candlestick. So volume was really not that high. And I do like that, it's moving up on low volume, because that just means that there's a lot more buying that's going on and not as much selling. So selling kind of diminished a little bit, where the selling intensified to get it to move up from that 24.50 to 25.99. Of course, 25.99. That's where she got pulled back from. But she's still trying to maintain that 2600 and break out above it. And she could easily do it as long as anybody that bought, let's just say in the 2400 range or 2450 is not getting tired of not really having much of a movement, and they decide to just lock in whatever profit they have. And if a lot of traders do that, then she could pull back down to that possibly 25.50, 25, and kind of get to support and pull right back up. And really current support right now, if she does decide to pull, the first area of support is going to be that 24.90, 24.88, somewhere in that, to that extent. But basically, ever since, let's see when this trend kind of started, June 3rd. So for the past 2 days, she's been playing the trend of that 24.90 to 26. So in order for it to break out above that trend, there has to be volume, and the volume has to be more on the buying side than the selling side for it to really break out above that 26 and see what she would do when she gets to 2800. That's going to be really the all tale of tale to see, she's going to break out above that 2800 with a vengeance, or is selling going to intensify and just really bring it down, $300-400 from that high back down to 2500. We shall see. We shall see. But if she does crack above 2800, my speculation is, let's just say hypothetically there's a sell-off at that 2800 because people want to lock in the profit, or people that bought a 2800, they want to basically, break even and not have to basically lose sleep over this. If she does come back down, there is a possibility that this area where I have these circles here, that 2357, 2350 could be really the area of support. And it could be that stronger area of support that she could pull back down to if there is selling, and that and just intensifies to bring it down. That 2350-ish could be the level that it gets down to before really deciding, if it's going to consolidate or if it's going to keep moving back down, or if she's going to, slowly but surely kind of move up to the upside. So that's kind of the level that I would be waiting for to buy, and that's why I put in that level of $2,364.26 to buy 8 of them. So we'll see. If she downtrends to that level, and I'm not in any other position, I think I would definitely be looking to take a position, just so I can get like a $300 gain per coin possibly, and that would give me $2,400. But let me get to some of these comments, and then we can take a look at Ethereum, and then we'll take a look at Litecoin, which I doubt I'm going to be able to take a position in Litecoin considering it's at $29 now. Yeah, I mean, for Ethereum, and this is in regards to the comment, what is the price target for Ethereum that I kind of see? Like I said, I mean, we'll definitely take a look at the chart, and this has been a very healthy chart, but that 500 is really the key level that I would be looking at by end of year. What kind of storm am I expecting? The big sell-off. There's usually a calm before a big storm to the downside. I don't think we're going to see, BTC going up. I mean, it can, not now though. I mean, like I said, I mean, BTC, there's no reason that it's not going to get up to the $5,000 range, or $10,000 range. It will over time. It definitely will. But currently, at the current level that it's at, I don't see BTC going up $1,000, from its current level within the next couple of days. We are going to have a bigger of a pullback, and whether that pullback is going to take it right back down to the 1900, whether people are going to support it and buy it back up, or are they going to crash it even a little further? But we'll definitely take a look at the chart. But yeah, this is what I think. I think it's just a calm before the storm. Yeah, Matt, I don't know about when Bitfenix will allow USD wire deposits. I think that's why they're charging a fee on transferring coins now, because they're not able to make that, $20 on a deposit or $20 on a transfer for USD. Yeah, Steam. I got steamrolled by Steam. This is a while back though. I mean, I bought it at 20,000 Satoshis and got fed up with the move, and it wasn't doing anything. So I just dumped everything at 18,000 Satoshis, and then like a couple weeks later, of course, it ran up like crazy. You see potential in it? There's potential in a lot of these cryptocurrencies, to be honest with you. I don't know if there's potential for, with the technology behind it, but there's potential for a nice upside move. Yes, Logan, thank you so much, man. Yeah, if you guys find this helpful, please, click that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Share this on your Twitter, on any social media sites. It will definitely help us out. Stay connected on Steemit, Twitter, Facebook, and sign up for our mailing list, because we will give you free access to our general chat room, which you can definitely keep this conversation going with a bunch of other people that are interested in the cryptocurrency. And there's a lot of great people that are just sharing some great information, information that I really didn't know about after reading some of the comments. And I'm like, man, this is very helpful. So the community is really coming together, and it is getting bigger and bigger every single day. So I highly recommend joining that free general chat room. Yeah, the uncertainty of Bitcoin soft fork, the user activated soft fork, the possible hard fork. Yeah, there's just a lot of things that could possibly keeping Bitcoin down. And it's really going to be a domino effect. When Bitcoin goes down, are the top 10 altcoins going to go down? Excuse me, or people are going to sell out of Bitcoin and go to a different cryptocurrency. And if they are going to a different altcoin, is there going to be risk there? Are there going to be enough people going into that same altcoin that's going to drive that price even higher? Or a lot of people are going to go into USD, where they think it's safer. When they wake up in the morning, their $1 is actually going to be $1, and that if they do go into an altcoin, the value of that altcoin is not going to drop, with the drop of BTC. But yeah, there's a lot of things happening with Bitcoin, in the next couple of months that could cause a lot of volatility, and it might be a lot of volatility that's going to happen before the year ends. Where do you sign up for the mailing list? So in the bottom of this video, there's a link to our website. Click on that website, or click on that link, and then that'll take you to our mailing list. And you just got to answer a couple questions, and then once we get the information, we'll go ahead and send out an invite to our Slack general chat room. I did tell somebody I was going to look at a currency. I think it was Radion. So let me see if I can, if that's even on my charting. So volume 106, up a little under 2%. Yeah, not really too impressed with the volume. Let's see what this price action looks like. So, I mean, I'm basically looking at the, as far as it go back, let's see how far this goes back. Looks like March 3rd. I'm sorry, February 17th is as far as I can go back. But it looks like right on March 23rd, possibly March 24th, March 23rd, it topped out at 219, let's just say 220,000 Satoshis. That was kind of the all-time high up there. And then currently 216,000, possibly 217,000. So it peaked at its high, based on a long time resistance that it had from that high that it hit on March 23rd. But if we zoom in a little closer, so if you weren't looking at the overall chart, you wouldn't have known where the possible resistance is. For you to be able to take profit, maybe lock in a little bit of the profit, wait for a dip to buy back in, because that's exactly what it did. It hit that 217,000 Satoshis, and then it basically dipped right back down. Actually, 230,000 Satoshis before dipping back down. But I mean, for a trader, this is a perfect chart. We got some nice dips, some rips, dips again, it rips up. I mean, continuously, it looks like it's just forming, cups and handle, cup and handle, cup and handle. So, I mean, if you really can catch the cup and handle formation, you can get a nice bump to the upside, but you just got to know exactly when to get back out before it forms in another cup. But I mean, she is going to have a hard time getting above, I would say, about 210,000 Satoshis. She will see some sort of resistance, because really at 3 points, right about here on the left-hand side, that's about the 210,000. That's the resistance there. Right up here is a resistance. Yeah, it peaked out above here with a lot of volume, and as you can see, the volume bar is basically getting right up to the candlestick. But second time right up here, it got right up to that 23 or 210,000, pulled back down. Same thing up here, pulled back down. So, it is going to have some sort of a resistance when it gets up to that 2,100 or 210,000 Satoshis. But as long as volume picks up, and like I said before, the volume has to be more on the buying side than the selling side. As long as that intensifies, then yeah, she can get a bigger push up. But yeah, this is a very nice chart for day traders, especially if they were following this chart, where it's just really forming just nice cup and handles just throughout. So we got a bigger cup and handle here, in comparison to the very little cup and handles that it previously formed. But it formed the handle. Yeah, it got the cup, formed the handle, but then it just kind of decided to tread sideways, and not really make some sort of crazy upside move. Okay, I'm going to mute this for about 1 minute, guys, but I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. So let's see. Let's see if I missed any of these comments. Yeah, and Corey, we'll take a look at Steam for you. No, Jonathan, I have not watched Mr. Trades at all. I've been kind of lacking on catching up with some of the really good YouTubers that I used to follow before I started doing live streams. I just haven't really had the time to really follow them. I used to watch Omar's videos, every time they were posted. Um, I'm so far behind. It's just like I feel lost trying to make up the time to catch up on some of his videos. So Mr. Trades is a crazy dude who smoked weed while trading crypto. It's too funny. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be putting that on air. Yeah, especially for everybody to see. Yeah, I mean, you're asking for it to come back and haunt you later on down the road for some apparent reason. But Steam, let's take a look at Steam for Corey. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people pumping Steam. I think there's a lot of people pumping it. Let's see. So that was a high that it hit recently. Looks like 77,800 Satoshis. Wow. And thinking that I bought it at 20,000 and got rid of it at 18,000. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, this isn't a bad chart either. I mean, it's not really breaking down. It's had pullbacks, profit taken, that's going to happen. It's pulled back, but it's really maintained its momentum and it's getting right back up. So yeah, I mean, it's down from its all-time high, but this isn't a bad chart at all considering, and this is kind of what I look for. Especially, if I'm really analyzing a chart and I'm interested in getting that trade, I definitely want to catch the bottom. I don't want to buy at the top, because then if it dips on me, I'm losing USD or I'm losing whatever it is. So I'd like to see it start to curl, start to consolidate, and this is kind of a perfect example. Let me see if I can zoom in a little closer. So right up here, especially after it came down from 61,000, it came down to right about. Looks like the low there was about 33,000. And after, hitting 33,000, maintained just a little momentum to get up, but then it just consolidated right in this range. And this is kind of the curl that I kind of look for. So if you look at this on a larger time frame, you can see a better of a curl than we're looking at because we're kind of zoomed in. But yeah, right in this area here, that would have been a perfect opportunity to find an entry. And I'm not talking about for a long-term hold. I'm just talking about, for maybe, holding it for a day or two, locking in, those 20, 30% profits and being happy with them. Because really, if you would have looked at it in this range here and got in right at this candlestick, that was right around the 38,000 Satoshis. Let's just, do the math and round up and just say 40,000 Satoshis you got in because you weren't able to catch the bottom. Current level right now, 57,000 Satoshis, that's a pretty significant gain. 17,000 Satoshis you would have gained on that. So yeah, this is a pretty nice chart. I don't know how far I can go. It all depends on how many people are pumping this. I don't know if she'll get up to its all-time high of 0.006 anytime soon. But the more people that are supporting this and not really selling and accumulating, yeah, it's going to have a nice move to the upside. But then the dump is just going to be epic, coming right back down. Steam dollars. I saw that the other day and I was like, what is Steam dollars? But I mean, at one point it wasn't doing too bad at all. I mean, volume of course is low. But yeah, basically, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but it's basically when you convert your Steam powers, you can convert them to Steam dollars. So it is part of Steam. All right, I think I got to all the comments, but yeah, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. I appreciate the thumbs up. And if you're a new viewer, welcome, and don't forget to sign up for our mailing list. There's a link at the bottom of this video, or you can just go to CryptoTradersRoom.com And when you do sign up for our mailing list, we'll give you access to our free general chat room. And that's just a free general chat room to kind of keep the conversation going about cryptocurrencies and really anything about cryptocurrencies that's on your mind. It's a great way to be able to converse with like-minded people from all over the world that are basically into the same thing that you're into, and that's this whole cryptocurrency world. But also stay connected with us on Steemit, Twitter, as well as Facebook. And don't forget to share this video with all your friends, especially if there's somebody new that's getting into cryptocurrency and they're looking to just to kind of learn how to trade things and know how to learn how to spot different things. Please feel free to share this video with them and let them know that I do these live streams Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I'd be happy to answer any of their questions for them. All right, so Litecoin. So we did take a look at BTC. Actually, no, we'll take a look at Ethereum, considering I still do have a position in Ethereum. But what can Ethereum do? And I mean, this is just a, if I didn't believe in Ethereum, I wouldn't be holding 20. Yeah, 20 might not be much, but I'm still waiting for a bigger push. And I think she can push up to that $300 range. And at 300, I would be looking to lock in, at least maybe 10, 5 at the minimum. But at least, maximum, I'll be looking to sell 10 and kind of see what the other 10 will do. But I think she's got room for a bigger jump than currently that she's made. And I mean, she's maintaining, and it kind of shows me that this is just a very healthy chart. And these are 5-minute candlesticks we're looking at, by the way. It shows me that it's a very healthy chart and that it's not still downtrending. It's really consolidating. It's moving sideways. Now, the range hasn't really gotten tighter and tighter and tighter. And we're going to take a look at that range. So I'm going to draw out some lines. Now, just keep in mind that these are not support and resistance. And I can definitely plot those out. I just want to kind of, do a little range finder and see exactly if the range is getting tighter and tighter or if the range is still staying the same. So basically, that range that it's been playing ever since, let's just kind of go back yesterday, June 4th, has been from the 241 range to about the 249.04, which is a high that it hit. And I mean, it's really impressive for Ethereum to be at close to 250 currently right now, when ETC as well as a lot of the popular cryptocurrencies are not close to their all-time highs, especially with BTC. But that is the range it's been playing, and the range doesn't look like it's getting tighter and tighter at all. Let's see what else we can plot out here. So a little tighter from the from the previous range, especially from yesterday, from 241 to 249-ish. So the range is getting a little tighter. So we're going to draw more lines and determine to see if she's getting tighter and tighter or if she's going to still maintain that same trend. Yeah, it is getting a little tighter. It's not having that move from 241 to 249, dipping down. So it is getting a little tighter and tighter. And we're going to see if we can, yeah, there's not much really that we can draw out, considering it's just moving sideways close to that 249. So I don't really see even though, this might look like a flag and pattern to a lot of people. I don't really see a flag and pattern because it's not, I can't really draw a wedge to it. Really, if we draw out a couple lines, it's not going to be getting wedged. And if it does get wedged, it's gonna be a long consolidation. Yeah, that could possibly be the flag there. If it consolidates and doesn't really move up to the upside or downside, and just kind of stays within the range. I don't know why it won't allow me to put that in there. There we go. But yeah, as long as it just consistently stays within this trend and it bounces up and down from the top wall to the bottom wall and it gets wedged into this little triangle here, that's normally the time that you kind of see a nice little pop. But like I said before, it all depends on the volume, the buyers, the sellers, where they stacked up. You really got to look at every other different types of probabilities that are out there. But if it does stay, maintained within this triangle pattern here and gets wedged in, then yes, we could get a nice little violent pop, and that could be the pop to really take it up to 275, possibly, or maybe even 300 if the volume is there to support it, and the volume is more on the buying side than the selling side. So we'll definitely have to really pay attention to this throughout the whole week and see exactly if it's going to maintain this trend or not. And I'm going to leave this this trend line, this West Triangle pattern here. I won't take it off. But let's take a look at this on a larger time frame. Really maintaining above that 215 and hasn't really crashed below that 215. Yeah, it came down here with these wicks, but maintained right above it, and it came up real quick. It didn't really lag, below that resistance that I had drawn out previously at 215, or that support at 215. It broke below it, but came right back up. But when it broke below it, it did break below it with a vengeance. I mean, as we can see, that wick is pretty long, where it brought it down to 205 from 215, but it did get right back up to that 215. So I mean, this is still a healthy chart. This would not indicate to me that, wow, this is going to be a bubble here. Just because BTC might be in a bubble might not necessarily mean that ETC is going to be in a bubble, especially with all the crazy things that are happening with ETC and so many different companies that are out there that are adopting this blockchain. But yeah, there was a lot of great buying opportunities, with that crazy major dip that happened, especially to bring it down to 115, up way over 100% from that low. And this is just looking very healthy to me, especially all in this area here, where it's just consistently maintaining that and not breaking down at all. So now if it starts to break down and it's trending sideways, or it's trending downwards, yeah, that would be a major concern for me. But it's not at all, not whatsoever. So we'll have to see, if she's going to maintain these areas of support and maintain the support and stay within those support like it's done, hovering right above, what was the previous high, 217, I think, 217.85. It's really maintained the prior resistance that was a resistance, because it tapped out there and then came right back down crashing. When it broke above it nicely, and just maintained it. It would, sellers really bought this up and maintained that prior resistance and made it the current support. And really, it's maintained that current support for a good amount of time. It hasn't really completely broken down in that range, and that was ever since May 30th. So really for the past 5 days, it has maintained the prior resistance and made it a new support. And this is looking very healthy, and that's why that possibly my price point for Ethereum, by end of year, 250. I mean, it could definitely get there before the end of year. But if we're going to have a healthy climb to it without crazy major dips and major corrections, yeah, healthy little corrections here and there, that's expected. But I mean, if we're going to have that, healthy move to the upside, she's got to move up slowly, and she can't just go parabolic and, go up 50% to 100% within a matter of a day or so. Berta, welcome. Yeah, thank you for signing up, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, looking forward to seeing you on the chat. But yeah, but that's Ethereum. I mean, I don't know if a lot of you guys have been in this from day one, especially within the past 6 months. And really, 6 months is not that long ago that it was just at $7. I think it was like December 24th. I was looking at this, December 25th, and I was like, yeah, I'll wait for it to come back down to 6. I was like, I'm not going to buy at the $7 level. Little did I know, she'd be getting up to $250. It's a crazy climb, and I think any of these cryptocurrencies can definitely do it. And I think this is the time that if we're all going to make significant amount of money, this is the time to just kind of spread out your money and put it into different cryptocurrencies that have a really good development team and that have a very good project. I would be careful with a lot of the other cryptocurrencies because really they're there really to make the development team and the investors money, and that's it. They might not really have a very good development team, a really good plan of action. But ETC 245 currently, Ethereum 245 currently, $4 off its high. This is very bullish to me. And I mean, as we can see, we know within the past, these are 3-day candlesticks that we're currently looking at. And on these 3-day candlesticks, it's really, the current candlestick is opening up above the previous candlestick's closing price. And that's very bullish. And that's exactly, even on this red day here, it opened up above its previous candle's closing price. So that's very bullish. But I mean, only time will tell, what cryptocurrencies are going to do. All right, let me see if I missed any comments. No comments at all, man. Is it because it's Monday? Or is it because the market is just slow today? It is slow. Let's see, not BTC, I'm sorry. Litecoin. Let's see what happened here. I probably have to refresh my screen, but yeah, that doesn't look right in this area here. And this Coinbase shut down trading, which I doubt they did. Yeah, that was just a little glitch. And LTC has been maintaining above 2850. Let's see. Today it did hit. What time was that? At midnight. Yeah, it looks like they make a run. They started making a run at 10. A little after 10, they started making a run from 20. Let's just say 2813 to 2975. $100.60. That's not bad to move for it at all. But it is maintaining that support line that I drew out from, I don't know when. I gotta really watch the video, but this is probably from a couple days ago. But really maintain that 2850. Hasn't significantly crashed below it. Yeah, it dipped below it. That's nothing really. That's not really significant. But it is maintaining that 2850. So that's really a good area of support there for it. To see whether it's going to break down and come down to this 2768, 2750. We'll see. But if she does have a good amount of selling, yes, that is a level that it could really touch. But that's not the level that I'm looking at to purchase. I'm really looking at possibly this 25 if it gets down to it. Yeah, right around the $25 range is basically what I'm expecting for me to take a position. And then of course 29 would be resistance. So if I get in at 25, $4 profit per coin, I would be looking to get out. I wouldn't be looking to hold past 29. Yeah, because it's having a hard time breaking out of, for some reason that $30 range is giving it a hard time. Let's take a look and see why is that $30 giving it a hard time. Really, it should have a hard time breaking out above 32, not breaking out above 30. Yeah, there's really no reason this hasn't broken out above 30 yet. 32 would definitely give it a hard time. It would have a pullback. I'm going to put that line there at 32. Give or take a couple pennies. 32 should definitely give it a hard time. But this breaking out above 30, this should not have had a hard time at all. There was really nothing stopping it. There wasn't a major resistance that was going on. Really, it kind of stopped short. And there was nothing here to kind of stop it short. Yeah, so if she does make a move to the upside, 32, I would expect some sort of a pullback. And if it does pull back from 32, the 2660-ish should be the level that it stops at. But it's slowly but surely climbing up to the upside. But that all-time high that it had set at 37, I think it was, or 38, 38.90, 38.91. So it's going to take a little while for it to get there. That's almost $10 from its current price. So it's going to take a little while for it to get there. It's got some hurdles that it has to cross, and it's got to cross above that 32, and then it's got to cross above the 36. right around 35.50ish, 36. But as long as it can cross above those lines, then yeah, and if she has to cross out above it with a vengeance, there is a possibility that she could start making a new time high. But that is going to be an area to really watch out for, considering that was the first area that when it really made a move in a while back. What day was this? I mean, we're kind of going a little further back now, but May 3rd, when it went from 18 bucks at 36 bucks. And of course, 36 bucks was still a resistance here, but there just happened to be a lot more FOMO that was happening to cause it to go up to 38.91. And then of course it pulled back down. So that 36 is going to be huge if it can get above the $32 price point. So 36, it's going to have issues, and that's exactly what it did here. It got close to 36, it got to 35.88 and pulled right back down. So that 36 is going to be a crucial level to kind of look at if you are in this position, to see that, to make sure that the selling is not going to intensify. And if there are sellers that are stacking up on that order book, that 36 might be a good indicator to say, you know what, I'm happy with the profits. Let me get out, and if it dips $1.50, $2, I'll buy it back. And I'll buy back a little bit more because I locked in some of those profits. But yeah, expecting it to kind of ride up above 36 and break 38 and get to 40, I don't know. I doubt it's going to do that. It's going to have that pullback. Whether that pullback is going to be minor or major, it just all really depends on the buyers and sellers, where they're stacked up, and also short sellers. If shorts are going to be really piling up at that $36 price point. Now, the nice thing about shorts is that they have to basically borrow something that's not theirs. They don't own those coins when they decide to short at 36 bucks. So they're borrowing them. So basically what they're doing is they're grabbing somebody's coins that's allowing them to borrow, and they're selling them at that 36 price point. That's the first thing they're doing. They're borrowing and then selling at 36. And then what they're going to do is later on they got to buy back what they sold at that 36 bucks and return those coins back to whoever owns them originally. More than likely it's Coinbase. So if they buy it back, at 32 bucks, they made a $4 difference, $4 profit per coin. So that's a possibility too. At that 36, short sellers might look at it and say, you know what, it's got the resistance. I'm shorting at 36, and if it gets up to 38.40, I might add a little more to short it more. So it is going to have a hard time breaking out above that 36 and really maintaining that 36. It's going to come back down. But the level that it's going to come back down to, who knows? It could really be that $30, and that might be a good entry if it dips, from 36 to 30. That's a $6 drop, especially if it happens real quick, for you to take a position and then not hold on too long to it, and in hopes of having it regain back some of the loss of $2 to $3 possibly. Let me see. Corey, you're asking, so do I see a dip in ETH coming back? I don't see a dip in ETH, man. I really don't. I mean, it's really maintaining, that trend line, and it's maintaining it very well. There's nothing that's really bearish about this current chart, especially at the current level that it's at. For it to be, basically $4, less than $4 from its all-time high. I mean, it can get there within a matter of 1 or 2 candlesticks, depending on the volume. This is not bearish at all, and I don't see a big downtrend that's going to happen. I can definitely see this thing, especially if it breaks out above 250. It could easily hit 275 before retracing back down to the 250, and then kind of checking to see if it's going to consolidate, or if that's when the sell-off is going to happen with a bunch of other coins, which is going to cause a domino effect, onto Ethereum, where people are going to lock in those profits and sell, and it would cause a much more of a bigger dip. But yeah, at the current moment right now, I do not see a big dip in Ethereum. I mean, it's not that far from its high at all. Yeah, no coming down for Ethereum. But it doesn't hurt. Like I've always said, put in that low ball offer before you go to bed, maybe 200 price point. You just never know, for it to have a nice dip at midnight when everybody's sleeping, especially in the East Coast time. right, let's take a look and see what's going on Bitfenix. Ethereum Classic still maintaining, between the support and resistance. Support of 14, resistance of 1750. I would love to see this thing kind of break out with a vengeance. But this consolidation is not bad either. I would rather have it consolidate any time of the day, because that means the longer that it consolidates, the bigger the push to the upside. Normally, that's usually the probability that I've seen. Now, that probability could be wrong. It's never 100% guaranteed. So that's why you kind of have to take some of these things with a grain of salt. But yeah, Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin Unlimited is tradable on Bitfenix, and I mentioned that before. But yeah, for some reason, I put in a lowball offer the other day for Bitcoin Unlimited. I think like $80 was the all-time low that it hit, and it got to like 120, and then right back up to 177. But with the position that I would possibly be looking at taking, it wouldn't make sense at all. I wouldn't be able to get out. I would basically be in that position because people would be buying little fraction increments of Bitcoin Unlimited instead of buying one or two coins. So for me to get in might not be bad, but for me to get out, it'll probably give me an issue. It would take me longer to get out than I would like. Volume is low. I mean, volume of 2 on Bitcoin Unlimited, and then volume of, it's not 0. It's really just fractions, of Bitcoin Core. Dash still 140. Ripple 28 cents. It's having a hard time getting above that 30 and maintaining that 30, but it is trending sideways. But yeah, if you can find a very good price difference, between Bitfenix and Coinbase, or really whatever it is that you're using, you could definitely make some money off arbitrage, and as long as that transfer goes through quick. When I bought Ethereum, I mean, there was a $30 price difference, and that was huge. And I mean, as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's $1,500. I'm like, why would I not do it? I'm like, I'm buying it at 177. Normally, I wouldn't buy at 177. I mean, that's, without really analyzing things and looking at things, but that happened to be a great entry. Attempted to move them over for that $30 per coin gain, but of course, yeah, did not work. Logan, 115% profit. Dude, sweet. I'll give you a virtual high five. But yeah, that's awesome, man. Those are the profits that I'd like to hear about. I mean, really any profit that you're making, if you want to share them with me, please do so. But when you're getting those 100% baggers, I mean, dude, it brings a smile to my face. That's awesome. Logan, man, we'll definitely be hitting the beach on the Virgin Island, or U.S. Virgin Island, or British Virgin Island, and trading on the beach, especially if you keep up these 100% gainers. That is sweet. Monero. Let's take a look at Monero real quick, considering, I mean, I do have the ability to trade it, which I haven't traded it yet. But, should Monero be $100? I think she could be. Definitely got pulled back from that. What she hit? 58? Close to $59, I think. 58.50 she hit. And that was, when everything was pumping. FOMO was kicking in with just about, a lot of the cryptocurrencies, and everything was going to the moon. BTC getting up close to that 3,000, 2,800. But then, of course, things come crashing. And I didn't see this thing crash. I saw it go up, and I was like, man, I would love to find a good entry. But I couldn't find a good entry. And I did not see this thing kind of dip right back down to, I think it dipped below 30, 28, 27.50. Yeah, 27.50 would have been, 27.72. Anything under 30 would have been a very good entry for this. And then be up over 33%, probably close to 40%. But yeah, there's a possibility that, with Monero and, the dark web, using Monero and people buying Monero just so they can use Monero on the dark web. Yeah, I don't really see a reason why this isn't a lot higher than it's currently at right now. But yeah, if we get a pullback on this, and I see this pullback, you know, to at least close to 30, that might be a very good entry for me. And it's always might, because that all really depends on what's going on with the overall market. You know, especially with the buying and selling that's going on with Bitcoin, because then that can have a domino effect on a lot of the other cryptocurrencies. And that's exactly what happened. You know, Bitcoin starts to tank, and everything starts to tank. Everybody was selling everything that they had and getting out of it. But yeah, if she can get to below 30, you know, I wouldn't mind taking just a little of a position. Probably nothing over 100. But I think Monero could be the sleeper that gives really, you know, takes basically some of the volume away from some of the cryptocurrencies, especially if she starts making a move to the upside. You know, a lot of volume could really pour in this, and volume has been light. You know, 19,664 in volume. I mean, that's a very light. But yeah, Monero, I will definitely be keeping an eye on. And I still do have a limit order for Ripple. I doubt she'll get to 15 cents, but I just kind of keep it in there unless I need the funds for something else, and then I'll cancel that order. So let's even see if there's any arbitrage opportunities. $6 difference basically between Bitfenix and GDAX. To me, $6 is not worth it to arbitrage it because anything could really happen. You know, they're very close together in price point. Now, once they start really having a huge difference of $15, $20, yes, that would make a big difference. I mean, especially $20. You know, if you buy 50, that's $1,000 easily that you're able to make if that arbitrage works out properly and the transfer goes through. So you're at the mercy of the exchange to transfer that in a timely manner. Civis ICO is a minimum of 50,000. That's it. Is that correct? Only 50,000 coins, Jonathan? Lorand, you know, you know, it's a very good question, and it's a question that everybody is probably asking. You know, and that question is, you know, when do we expect a big dump to happen? He's talking about BTC. You know, I don't have the crystal ball. I really don't, and nobody has a crystal ball, unless, you know, there's a bunch of whales that are sitting there and colluding to start dumping their coins. You know, those are really the only people that would know, you know, when the dump is going to happen, because they're the ones that are causing that dump. So I don't have a crystal ball to say, you know what, on this date, this time, this is when the dump is going to happen. All I can really do is just, you know, look at to see, you know what, is it making new highs? Is it making, you know, lower highs or higher highs? And is it breaking out above resistance, or is it maintaining support? And what is the volume looking like? You know, is there anything suspicious about the volume that's happening to kind of determine, you know, if it's going to have a nice dip or if it's going to have a violent dip or not. But I mean, you know, thing to remember too, I mean, if you see something going up so fast, so quick, it's going to have that crazy pullback. And, you know, none of these cryptocurrencies are having, you know, especially the ones that I'm looking at, they're not having that crazy parabolic move to the upside where it's just a straight up pull, just going straight up to the upside, and that's it. That's all we're seeing. You know, like we did when BTC was basically hitting $2,800. That's not currently what we're seeing now to say, you know what, this is when the dump's going to happen, but it is going to have a hard time at 2,800, not currently 2,600 that we're at. So that $2,800 level is going to be huge depending on how many people bought it at that level and are still holding on. And they didn't, you know, basically get faked out, you know, with this big drop, and they end up, you know, basically selling their position, or especially if they bought on margin. I mean, if they stacked up on margin at $2,800, yeah, then they definitely got liquidated if they didn't cut their loss. The exchange would definitely liquidate them. There's a certain limit that they would give you. It's either 33% of the value or 66% of the value before they actually liquidate the account and say, all right, you know, we can't allow this to go any further. It's already tanking. So I mean, they liquidated to kind of help you out, but they liquidated just at the wrong time. So we'll see. Only time will tell. When this thing gets to 2,800, what the sentiment is like. With some of the whales that bought in cheap, some of the people that bought in at 1,900, or whatever the low was, 1,913. People that bought it at 2,000. To have an $800 gain if you bought at 200, it's pretty significant. And I don't know any traders out there that wouldn't, lock in profit or take profits. And then you got short sellers that might stack up on top of that and start shorting BTC at the top of 2,800, expecting to have a nice little correction. I didn't even think about Mt. Gox. I did not even think about that. I completely forgot about Mt. Gox. So Jonathan is saying that BTC dump should happen when Mt. Gox sells the BTC they have to repay investors. Do you know off the top of your head how much they have in BTC, Jonathan? And I wonder if there's a plan. Are they going to dump everything at once into the market, or are they going to slowly but surely start dumping to say they don't cause a bigger price correction? So I guess then their plan of action is if it gets to 2,700. I don't know if that's written somewhere or anything, but yeah, if it is, I mean, definitely let us know. But yeah, Jonathan's saying the rumor is that once BTC gets to 2,700, Mt. Gox would solve and basically start liquidating what they have to kind of pay back investors. Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. And I mean, so we have that going on. We have the user activated soft fork happening. We have the possible hard fork. Segregated witness, lightning. I mean, there's just a lot of things that are going on that could cause a lot of volatility, and it's that uncertainty that's going to cause these volatilities. Okay, so Civic is raising 33 million, 100 million tokens. Yeah, I'll have to follow it. I started looking at BAT, and I know BAT was down. So I don't know if you guys bought in at that high price. I think it was at 0.005 or something to that extent. Yeah, not a problem, Loren. Anytime, man. I mean, that's what I'm here for. If you guys have questions, I'd be happy to answer them. As long as I have the answer for them. I'm not going to BS you if I don't have the answer. If I don't have the answer, I'll just be flat out and say, hey, you know what? I have no clue, to be honest with you. Okay, that's good to know. So in regards to Mt. Gox selling, all investors who lost money had to tell them how they wanted their money back in BTC or fiat. And I wish there was the data out there to indicate what majority of them might have chosen, because then that would indicate, how much are they possibly going to be flooding the market with, especially if people are taking BTC. They might end up holding on, depending on how much BTC they're getting in comparison to how much they lost. You bought today at the high? Oh, man. Well, hopefully it doesn't correct on you, Jonathan. Yeah, always have a plan, to be honest with you. Once you're in a trade, it's all about risk management. That's really what it comes down to. You can find a great entry, but, your expectation on what it might do, or your, well thought out, guess on exactly, the direction that it's going to take could be completely wrong. So, once you really get into a trade, you're either proven wrong or you're proven right. So those are the only two things that could happen. And if you're proven right, based on where you plotted out the support and resistance, you're going to be rewarded. If you're proven wrong, of course, you're going to lose some of your capital, but then it's all about risk management. So once you get into a trade, you really got to, in the back of your head, it should be, how do I manage this risk? Where do I see the support and resistance? Which you should already know the support and resistance. But if something is, topping out, hitting all-time highs, it's kind of hard to tell where the resistance is. It's not going to have a resistance. It's going to have more of a support than anything else. So that's why anything that's hitting all-time high, it's very hard to chart out and determine exactly what it's going to do, because it really hasn't told you a history of where it's been. It's only been down low, and it's been hitting higher highs consistently. Yeah, those are hard to determine. Oh, Alex, yeah, thank you for that question, and I did respond to your message. And Alex is asking basically, when will I offer training, like step-by-step, one-on-one, personalized trading? That's going to be happening soon. I am working with my business partners, and I do have business partners. They're usually on this chat. I don't know if they're on today, but you'll see ECS. He's my business partner, as well as Dylan, and then Henry. So I will be discussing with them. I'll be meeting with them or talking to them tomorrow. We'll be coming out with some sort of a template flyer, for what it is that we're offering. But yeah, it's going to be very selective, to be honest with you, because I can't do it for everybody every hour on the hour. So it's going to be very selective on the people that I pick based on the questionnaire, the questions that you answer, and I definitely want to take that hour-long session and really personalize it to what it is that you want to learn, and not just really go off topic and covering different random things. I want to be very specific to what it is that you want to learn, and be able to cover that for you. What current positions do I have? If you want to elaborate, I don't know what you mean. I mean, I'm not hiring anybody if that's what you're asking. Maybe later on, as CryptoTrader's room gets attraction and gets bigger, we'll be looking to bring in people on board that could possibly do what I'm doing, and maybe elaborate on different aspects of CryptoTrader's room. But that'll be later on down the road, though. I'm not buying BAT, but you can buy BAT on, I think I saw them on Bittrex. Let me take a look. I think that's where it was. Yes, you can buy BAT on Bittrex. So currently, right now, the price is, we'll take a look at the chart too. Current price, 11,960 Satoshis, broke a little below 10,000 Satoshis. But let's go ahead and look at this chart a little better. But we're not even going to take a look at that one crazy candlestick. But basically, yeah, I mean, after it was listed, came down to, wow, came down to 6,000 Satoshis. I don't know if anybody bought it at 6,000 Satoshis, or if they were even allowing any transactions to go through, but made it right back up to a little under 15,000 Satoshis. So, I mean, yeah, nice little, move up to the upside, gave back, some of its gains, but this looks like it's gearing up for possibly another run. But volume is kind of dry, though. So if we look at the volume versus, where it kind of peaked out, volume was pretty good. But then once it started downtrending, volume continuously just kind of downtrended with it. But it is on the uptrend right now from the bottom that it hit, right around a little under 10,000 Satoshis. But volume is still low. So volume has not really increased to indicate that it's going to break out and start hitting the high of that 15,000 Satoshis. So yeah, we'll need more price action to determine exactly what BAT's going to do. And then, I mean, if you guys are looking at long-term investment, definitely research the development team and the projects that they have working on before investing in this long-term. Good evening from Vietnam. Trevor, welcome, buddy. Yeah, Vietnam's definitely a place I want to visit. Definitely one of these days. So there was a future contract website you could have bought at 0.09 cents. Wow. Yeah. So you'd be up 200%. Yeah, I wonder what their requirements were, if there was a certain amount that you had to purchase. Oh, man. Laurent, basically so I'll read Laurent's comment. He's saying he's familiar with trading terms and basic 101s, but he feels like the knowledge is a bit of a puzzle that's missing a lot of pieces. And could I recommend some books or stuff to read, which starts from zero? I mean, there's a lot of books out there, to be honest with you. Man, like, I mean, Trading for Dummies. I mean, you just Google it. I mean, there's tons of them that are out there. I can't really recommend one off the top of my head, to be honest with you. But there are a lot of them out there. Corey, not a problem, man. I mean, if you have a question, ask away, dude. But you're asking, are there any strong current entry points to look out for today overall? It all depends on cryptocurrency. So if you kind of give me a cryptocurrency, I can take a look at the possible resistance and the support, and and tell you, if I was it, and this is basically in my opinion, if I was a person to get into that position, what I would be looking at getting into. I can't really tell you at what position or what price point you should be getting into. You really got to weigh out your risk and reward. And like I said earlier, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. These videos are only for educational purposes, and they're not to really be used as trading advice. But I'd be happy to take a look at the support and resistance and tell you, if in my personal opinion, if I was to take an entry, what level I would be personally looking at. Oh man, Jonathan, thank you for sharing, dude. You got a wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate it. And this is the type of wealth of knowledge that we're looking for. And I know you're in that chat room. We've conversed a couple times, but I do appreciate you sharing, indicating that there are basically 21 people that own 85%. And for 21 people to own 85%, that could be hugely manipulated. And you're right, yeah, they could mess with the market easily. And there's a lot of manipulation that happens, guys, a lot. So if you don't think it happens, you should not be trading at all, because that should really be in the back of your mind. How is this being manipulated? Because people with deep pockets can easily get these things to move in their direction. But yeah, those 21 people, I don't think they'd be looking to cash everything out at once. They're not going to cause a huge crash, but they will be slowly but surely flooding the market with what they have. And that all depends. I mean, at what price point did they buy it? What type of return are they looking for? Some of them could be looking for, 400 or 500% return. So it all depends on their entry. And I wish, if we could find out what their entry was, we can kind of determine, okay, you know what, they might be looking for that 400 or 500% or possibly 1,000% return. And then we can kind of have a somewhat of an idea of where they might be dumping. And then we can kind of look at the order book, as long as they don't hide the order. Now, if they hide the order, there's no way really for us, which majority of the time they will be hiding that order. But we can kind of see based on, what's being executed to determine, okay, what, that's part of the order book, or no, these trades that are coming in are not part of this order book, and there's a lot of them that are coming in on the sales side. So that would kind of give us a better idea of, if big money is dumping. How do you get started on trading? Oh, dude, it's definitely a conversation that you and I should have on our one-on-one personalized trading. And there is one that I offer step by step, to basically get you going from A to Z. And that's basically setting up an account, linking your bank account to it, getting funds in that account, how to place your first trade, how to place your first sell, how to do limit order, how to do, limit buy or limit sell orders, how to transfer funds, or cryptocurrency from one exchange to another exchange. That's definitely a longer topic for me to cover, Alex, and I really can't cover it on this live stream. But I think you'd be a perfect candidate for that one-on-one personalized training that I do offer. But we'll definitely, like I said, sign up for our general chat room, and then once we get that information, we'll be posting that on our general chat room for anybody that's interested in signing up for that type of service. I'd have to look at them. Let's see. Trevor is asking. I've never even heard of these coins. Extra bytes. I've never heard of. Likey, I think it's pronounced. I've never heard of. So I'd have to take a look at the chart and see exactly what are they possibly doing. But just by me looking at the chart, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what they're going to do. You really got to look at, and I mean, you got to look at heavily that order book on how trades are coming in, because that's really going to be your best indicator of what you plotted out and what you assume might happen, where the support and resistance is, if that's going to be, if that's going to come true. When Ethereum was 1,000 bats, yeah, it's a good amount. Oh, that was the buy-in. Okay. Mel, welcome, buddy. My good buddy from down south, down under, I should say, Australia. We've had a couple people from Australia on here, but you weren't on here that one time. Alex, not a problem, man. Anytime. I'm gonna try to make a point today to get on that general Slack chat room. So if you're already part of that general chat room, definitely connect with me on there. I tried to hop on the other day on Friday, and I think Jonathan was really the only one on there. Nobody else was on that chat. So if you currently have an invitation and you're a current member of that general free chat room that we have, definitely look for me today. I'm trying to think what time would be a good time. anywhere between 1:30 to about 2 o'clock to 2:45, I should be on there. I'll have that free time. So, and that's Eastern time zone. So 1:30 Eastern time zone. If you're already a member of our free chat room, definitely look for me on there, and we can continue this conversation. But there are a bunch of other people on there too. So, you're free to have a conversation with anybody on that chat room. That's a very good question. The Warple, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he's asking, is there an exchange where you can set both a stop loss and a high sell order? Poloniex only allows one. Yeah, they're all going to allow one unless you do a trailing stop loss. So a lot of them don't offer trailing stop loss. Trailing stop loss basically is exactly how it's described. It trails that cryptocurrency by X amount. So you can trail it by, I don't know, I'm just making up some numbers here. Let's just say 100 Satoshis. So that, as it moves up, it'll trail it by 100 Satoshis. And then if it stops moving up and tends to move down, it'll stop. And then if it cracks below that 100 Satoshi trailing stop, then your order will automatically execute or should execute. And hopefully there isn't a slippage that happens. And I've described slippage and what could happen. You could actually lose a good amount of your profit due to slippage if there isn't any buyers out there to support what you're trying to sell when you do a trailing stop. But yeah, you cannot do both at all. I mean, yes, you can and you can't. So I'll try to explain it a little differently. So let me think for a second here. If you weren't selling everything at once, let's just say you want to. So let's just say you split everything up, 50%. So 50% you can put a high sell order. The other 50% you could do a stop loss. So really, that's the only way to be able to play in both ways to kind of work the system. But if you do, 100% of the coins that you have, you either have to do a stop loss or you have to do a high sell order. But at least if you say, what, I'll take 50% and do a high sell order, and I'll take the other 50% and I'll do a stop loss, that's kind of a way around the system of doing both at once, if that helps out at all. Let's see. Red coin went up 150%. Yes, it did, man. It dipped hardcore to like almost 50,000. I'm sorry, not 50,000, 50 Satoshis. But yeah, dude, you bought it at 53. You bought it just basically at the bottom. Yeah, I saw the move up and I was impressed. I was really impressed. And I was like, man, I thought it would just kind of grind down and get back down to like that 20 to 15 to 10 Satoshis. But no, somebody supported it big time to get it to move up. And I don't know, I wasn't looking at the order book, so I don't know how it got up that high. I mean, was it with a huge buy order or was it just with little increments of larger buy orders? That's awesome, Loran. Yeah, definitely send that email. And then once you do, like I said, we'll send you an invite. Have I heard of BitConnect? Yes, I have. Sounds like a Ponzi scam to me. I don't know. Let me read your comment first. And so far, just to kind of put this out, I don't personally have an opinion on BitConnect at this moment. So I'm not the one that's saying it's a possibly Ponzi scam. But Hydro Crypto saying, have you heard of BitConnect? Sounds like a Ponzi scam to me. For now, people are racking up huge profits, but they lock your investment down for 200 plus days. Yeah, when you're lending, your coins or your funds out, they do pay a high interest rate from what I've heard. I think the minimum they'll lock it down is like 120 days. So if you put a little over 10,000 in it, I think they'll lock that for 120 days. And then after 120 days, you can get your capital out. Is it a Ponzi scam? Oh, man. I think that terminology is thrown out a lot, with a lot of these coins. So really, I have to take that with a grain of salt. Could they really, shut down operation and take everybody's coins? Yes, it's a possibility. It could happen. But yeah, anything is possible. And I mean, would I trust them, to put $10,000 in there? Yeah, the interest rate is tempting, what they pay out. But is it too good to be true? Yes, it is too good to be true. So that's why I think a lot of people might think it's some sort of a scam. I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it a Ponzi scam, but some sort of possible scam based on that amount that they're paying out. And you know, if you're in and you're out, you get your money and you don't look back. Yeah, there might not be anything wrong with it, but if you just keep, you know, taking the capital that you have and then reinvest in that, taking the interest that they pay you out and reinvesting it, locking it up again. Eventually, I mean, you know, shit could hit the fan and they could shut down operation and take everybody's money and everybody's coins and never to be heard from again. But yeah, so I mean, if you do it, I wouldn't do it with a lot of money, to be honest with you. You know, I mean, just like, you know, it's almost like, you know, putting money into some of these cryptocurrencies, some of these altcoins. You know, don't put money into them that you're not willing to lose. And that's the same thing with BitConnect. I know if I wasn't willing to lose that money, I wouldn't put that money into BitConnect. Now, if I lost that money, you know, it's not going to be the end of the world. So that's the money that I would possibly put into BitConnect. So start small and see how it does. You know, that's the best advice I'd have for you. And then as your payments grow and grow and grow, maybe take out your whole principal and just, you know, start lending out the profits that you've made off BitConnect, so that if something does happen, you know what, you got your principal. Yeah, it sucks that you've lost all this profit because they decided to go under and take everybody's money, but at least you're only playing with the house money. Dylan, welcome. And yeah, and Dylan, like I've described to you guys, Dylan's one of my business partners. So you will see him on this chat room periodically. He's actually on here a good amount of time, and I do appreciate Dylan's help, as well as ECS and Henry. You'll see them periodically on these live streams, and as well as on the chat. You'll definitely be communicating with them. You know, I'm communicating with them. They'll be chatting with you. You guys will be chatting with them. Like I said, it's a great community, and if you haven't done so already, you know, I highly recommend joining that free chat room. You know, there aren't too many traders out there giving away a free chat room to give you guys a community, a place to hang out, and that's basically what it is. It's just a place to continue the conversation going indefinitely. And that chat room will always be open to anybody that wants to join for free. But then we do have our actual traders chat room with a handful of people that are there really sharing some technical and fundamental analysis on some of the coins they're looking at, sharing some of the great breaking news that's out there, sharing their knowledge. I mean, Logan, dude, I can't thank you enough for some of the knowledge that you've shared on Bitcoin. You know, you've been researching Bitcoin for a very long time, and the knowledge that you have of your understanding behind it is really valuable, and I do appreciate you sharing that. Let's see. Seems like they are returning profits from new investors. Yes. Yeah. I mean, for them to be paying out that much. I mean, I looked at BitConnect, and I do have a BitConnect account. I don't use it. I haven't funded it, but I do have an account because I just wanted to see what the hype was about. And I put in that, you know, I was going to, I forget what the math was, what it worked out to, but, you know, that I was going to lend out $5,000 and the returns were huge. And I was like, man, this is a salary on a monthly basis. Like this would pay, you know, a good amount of my daily expenses. So yeah, so I mean, they could be taking, you know, the profits from, you know, new investors coming in and paying them out to other investors, which then would make it a Ponzi scam. So that's why, yeah, I would be very careful with them. Hydro Crypto, not a problem, man. Anytime. Same with you. The Warpler, actually. I'm sorry. Yeah, not a problem. If you guys have questions and I get to those questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I know at one point, a couple live streams ago, there was just way too many questions and I really couldn't keep up with them. And I ended up missing some really good questions. And I do apologize for anybody that had a very good question that I didn't get to. But we got, you know, 29 watchers. That's awesome. That's awesome. And if you guys haven't done so, please, you know, click on that subscribe button. I don't know where we're currently at now. Let me take a look at it. But, you know, we were close to getting to that 900 subscriber count. And that's huge. You know, I'm very thankful for everybody that has subscribed. I mean, you guys don't know what it means to me. And like I've said before, it just kind of motivates me to keep doing this and keep making more of these live streams or doing more of these live streams. But let's see where we are currently with the subscriber count. 894. I mean, that's huge. You know, from when I started on January 1st, I started doing these the YouTube channel. So that's a significant amount of growth for me. I know for a lot of people, they might say, "Oh, that's nothing," you know. But for me, I'm very happy with that. Omar, welcome, buddy. It's great to see you on here. Omar saying, Dan the Man is the guy who made Steam and BitShare. And BitShare is the same guy who made BitConnect. Interesting. There's always a connection. There really is between a lot of these people. Future World, welcome. And yes, I could definitely do technical analysis. Uh, 29 watchers, yes. Let's see. And only 2 clicked like. Yeah, we got 15 likes so far. But I think, yeah, recently only two clicked on that like button. So if you've already clicked on that like button, don't click it again, because it will take that like away. I've done that before in some videos. I'm like, oh, I never went through it. Let me click it again. And I'm like, oh, I just took away the like. I'm like, let me add it back on. Yeah, Jonathan, and that's a good point. I mean, a lot of Ponzi scam people are getting arrested. Yeah, and mainly a lot of it's happening in the traditional financial market because it's how heavily regulated it is. With the cryptocurrency market, I mean, it's not regulated. So, I mean, a lot of these, pump and dump rooms exist, and they will probably continue to exist until it's regulated. But is it going to be regulated? Probably not. So as long as it's not regulated, yeah, there's going to be scams happening left and right. And unfortunately, that's just that's the nature of the beast. And we just got to be able to keep an eye on it and prevent us from being a victim of that scam, possibly, or a victim of that pump and dump. But let's. I think I got to all the questions. Let's get back to some of these cryptocurrencies and take a look at some of the movement. And I don't think there's a good entry at all. 29.30. That's not too bad for Litecoin to get up there. Yeah, this is almost like on Friday. It's just not really much of a crazy movement. Let's see what's moving on Bittrex based on volume. Verge, XVG, Vergis, 217. Wow. Yeah, this was nothing not long ago. Yeah, oof. A little over 50 Satoshis on the 4th. On the 2nd, 60 Satoshis. Yeah, that's a huge move for it. But volume has to be there to support it, and the volume is definitely there to support it. This isn't moving like crazy to the upside with very minimal volume. The volume is there to support it, and that's definitely what you want to look at. I mean, you could look at a cryptocurrency that's up 150%, but then you look at the volume, you're like, whoa, like how does that price move support the actual volume? The volume might be like 1 BTC, and that should throw a red flag. Yeah, there's red coin, 128,000 Satoshis. I haven't heard too many people talking about PIVX. I think people are giving up on PIVX. And that's usually the time that you want to be looking into getting into something when the hype kind of dies down. I mean, definitely made a nice move from that 27,000 Satoshis to get, I mean, that was a crazy pump to about over 80,000 Satoshis. It looks like maybe 83, almost 83,000 Satoshis from 27,000. That's a huge move. But we'll see if this kind of grinds back down to its low. But yeah, that could have just been, a group, a chat group, or a couple big whales being like, yeah, this has been, grinded down and beat down. Let's go ahead and pump it back up. And they made a huge profit off of it. But so we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely going to keep an eye out on PIVX. And I think PIVX, if I do get in, it's going to be for a long-term hold. But I'm waiting for something bigger drop than this current drop from, where it's been in the past. I mean, if we take a look at the one-day candlestick, I mean, it's pretty ugly for anybody that bought in at the high. So we'll see. If right now from its high that it kind of set at 83,000, it is trending downwards. So we'll see if it actually gets to that 27,000 Satoshis and levels out. And if it levels out, that's a great entry. If it's still downtrending, Yeah, I might wait to see if I can get more of a better entry, maybe at the 15,000 Satoshis. I mean, who knows? You never know. Anything is possible in the crypto space. But yeah, not a lot of people are talking about PIVX unless I'm missing the noise. But yeah, that's usually when I like to analyze things for long-term investment, especially if nobody's talking about the coin because nobody's hyping it. That's a time to kind of find a bottom entry. And usually when nobody's talking about it, that's usually when it's bottomed out and it's just exhausted every seller out there and they have nothing else to sell. So the buying intensifies, the buying picks up, and what do you know? She starts ripping to the upside. Momentum chasers step in. Anybody that's looking at it says, "Oh, it's going to get back up to that 175." They start jumping in, and then what do you know? It's going parabolic. I'll take a look at GBD. Is it Digix Gold? I think. Let me see. Or Digits Byte. Yeah, Digibyte. Yeah, this is definitely, and I wish I could draw out. Yeah, they don't allow me to draw on this, which kind of sucks. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's flagging. I mean, if I could draw a really line from the top there to where its current level is, and then take another line from right about here, or actually do it right from where the low that it touched here, and draw a line out that way. I mean, that would definitely indicate, a possible flag wedge. That all depends on the volume too, on the buying and selling that's going on. So if you guys are looking at Bittrex, and I did mention this, be very leery of the BTC volume that you're looking at, especially in the order book on the ask and the bid side. Especially on the bid side where the buyers are stacked up, it's indicating there's 434 BTC in volume. On the ask, the sell side, it indicates that there are, let's see, 1.3, over 1.3 million in BTC volume. So that's a little, it's a little misleading. I wouldn't look at BTC because there are a lot of people that are basically selling, a little bit of coins at a very high price, which would cause the volume of BTC to be higher. But what you want to look at is the actual sum. So the sum right now for DGB is on the buy side, let's see. On the buy side, 371 million. On the sell side, it looks to be about 83, 82 million. So there's a little more on the buying side based on the sum of DGB coins and not the BTC paired volume. So there's definitely a lot more on the buying side than there is on the selling side. So definitely be leery when you guys are looking at the volume, especially that's what's in the order book that's to be bought or to be sold. Look at the actual amount of coins that are looking to be sold versus the amount that's looking to be bought and not the BTC side of it. Because that could be very misleading. Because if I just looked at the BTC, I would say, whoa, there's a lot more selling that's going to be happening than there is buying. Let me get out of this trade. And what do you know, you're not really analyzing it properly, and you could be possibly getting out at the wrong time. This just means that there's people that are just putting in crazy high sell orders. I mean, it's like they basically setting it and forgetting it in the hopes that it does pump up like crazy and has that crazy parabolic move, and they're not paying attention to it, and their trade would execute. But yeah, this could be gearing up for a nice possible push up to the upside to maybe break above the 2,500 Satoshi range. But I mean, it all depends on the volume. But yeah, the pattern is there. The wedge with the flag pattern is definitely there. But it just matters of who's sitting at that price level to be able to support it. So hopefully that answers your question on DGB, Omar. But I do have about, wow, I should have actually gotten off of this, and I'm surprised my landlord is not here. But I will keep this going until about 11:30. But he should have been here soon to kind of do a walkthrough for new tenants. But yeah, let me know in this next 6 minutes if you guys have any questions. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe, thumbs up if you found this very informative, very helpful. And that's why I kind of do these live streams, just to kind of show you what I look at on a day-to-day basis. And hopefully in the hopes of getting an entry in, and I can actually get an entry in, when I'm doing a live stream. But sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. But if you haven't done so already, please sign up for our mailing list. We are giving away those free general chat room to be able to continue the conversation going beyond YouTube and beyond you guys having to really, find somebody that's doing a live stream to be able to communicate with them. That free chat room is very invaluable for anybody that wants to join. It's there for you guys. So I definitely want you guys to be able to utilize it and be able to continue the conversation going with a bunch of other cryptocurrency fanatics, fans that are out there that are conversing on a day-to-day basis on all different time frames. But also, connect with us on Steemit, Twitter, Facebook. I do post these videos to Steemit, so if you have a Steemit account, please help us get the word out by upvoting. Kofi, welcome. No, I'm not having that issue at all, but I'm not using, what am I using? No, I am using Firefox. But are you trying to access Coinbase or are you trying to access GDAX? I can't remember the last time I logged into Coinbase, to be honest with you. I just go straight to GDAX. No, I don't want to sign up. I already have an account. And also, for anybody that's looking to set up an account, and especially if you don't have a platform yet, I highly recommend starting out with Coinbase. And there's a link at the bottom of this video. You could actually sign up by using that link. And when you make your first trade of $100 or more, you'll actually get $10 in free Bitcoin. And CryptoTrader's Room will get free $10 in Bitcoin. So it'll help you out. It'll help me out. As well as there is a Bitfenix referral code as well too. So if you haven't done so, and if you haven't set up a Bitfenix account and you're looking to do that, so you have the ability to do arbitrage, please help out CryptoTrader's Room by using those links below. And I think with GDAX, it's a great entry if you're looking to start trading and you haven't really started trading yet. I think it's a great entry platform. It's easy on the eyes. It's easy to read a lot of the things. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They have issues just like any other exchange does. Not one exchange is perfect. But for a first timer, I think it's a great exchange to start using. Considering, you can really save a lot of money on commission too by using those limit orders. And when you use those limit buy and limit sell orders, you're not going to pay any commission at all. Let me see if it gives me a hard time logging in. Authorize new device. Yes, yes, yes. I got to go to my Gmail. Like I said, I have not logged in Coinbase in a very long time. And now I got to get to my email and be able to confirm and authorize this device. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like it's giving me any issues at all. All right, guys, I'm going to put this on mute real quick, and I think that's my landlord that's calling me right now. All right, sorry about that, guys. But yeah, my landlord will be here momentarily. So that was kind of his notification that he's going to be dropping by. But let me go ahead and confirm or authorize this new computer so I can get on, or at least attempt to get on to Coinbase. I don't know why it's making me go through this setup. All right, I will not be doing this now. But yeah, I've never seen this this error that is given, or at least making you go through some sort of a setup. But yeah, I rarely log on to Coinbase, guys. I don't even use Coinbase to buy and sell at all. I kind of use Coinbase for the app. That's it, just to kind of look at the price if I'm not in front of a computer. But that's about all that I use them for. But yeah, if you're looking to buy and sell, don't do it from Coinbase, please. There's just nothing but, you know, I mean, you're going to pay a higher fee in the sense of commission. And then they do mark up the price, so you're going to pay premium as well, too. So I would be very careful. Tony, welcome from the UK. Logan, you got somebody from the UK on now. You know, Tony, I mean, 65% profit is good, dude. You should not be fuming at all. You made a profit. Be happy with it. Because, the problem that I've run into is, and I've run into the same situation you're running into, you sell at a very good profit and then it starts to go up. But then, your mentality is going to change later on to where you're going to be like, well, last time, I sold and I lost out on a bigger gain. Whereas if you do that with your current trade, it might turn against you. It might actually turn the other way. So locking in those profits. Now, the best thing I've done is probably lock in those profits, maybe at, quarter increments of what you have, or, a third of what you have. And then in the hopes that, what, I'll leave the rest on the table. If it goes up, that's great. If it dips, you know what, that's okay because I locked in some of the profits. So the best situation to do is basically probably lock in a quarter or a third of the position that you have. No, I'm not saying that BTC is inflated because of low volume. I mean, we've seen things move on low volume. It's really of what's going to happen within the next couple of days, within the next couple of months. With user activated soft fork, with a hard fork, with segregated witness, with Lightning. I mean, there's just a lot that's going to be happening. Mt. Gox possibly dumping a bunch of their coins onto the exchange, to kind of pay back their investors. That 2,800 coming in really close from the current price that it's at. What is the current price now? 26.15. I mean, a lot could happen, and I just think that she's getting bloated or inflated again, based on the possible, the crazy news that's going to be coming out, as well as this current price. And I mean, really, I don't think we've seen a bigger correction yet. Yes, that correction to 1,900 was pretty big. It was. But it came right back up with a vengeance from that low of 1913. Berto, not a problem, man. I'm glad the information on GBD that I just covered was exactly what you were seeing, and that's awesome. And that's kind of what I want you guys to see. What I see, I want you guys to be able to see it, or maybe look at it, but look at it in a different perspective, maybe a perspective that I'm not looking at. And that's why we created the trading chat room, because you guys are going to have a different perspective on a cryptocurrency, on what you see versus what I see. And it's really all about taking both those information and coming up with a very educated guess of what it might do. So I'm glad that you were able to see the same thing I was able to see, because then that kind of confirms that what I'm looking at is somewhat correct. I'm not going to say it's 100% correct, but the probabilities of it being correct are a lot greater. Use Bitfenix. Your only issue, which is annoyance really, is the position profit and loss ticker, which is quite delayed for markets such as Bitcoin with high volatility. I haven't really paid attention to that with the profit and loss. Yeah, I mean, I'll look at it and I'll be like, okay, I was just at 3,000, now I'm at 3,600. But I haven't paid attention in comparison to the uptick on the coin to see if it actually changes. One thing I wish they would have, same thing with GDAX, is I wish they would be able to tell me what my profit and loss is on the position that I have, but they don't. I kind of have to do the math on my own. Where Bitfenix, yeah, they do tell you the overall profit, but I wish they would tell me the profit on the actual specific trades that I'm in. Instead of, because I mean, really, if you're in a bunch of trades, it's gonna, unless you really do the math, it's gonna be pretty hard to determine exactly how much of the profit you're in. With every coin, you're just able to see the overall profit. All right, let me get to a couple more of these questions, and then I do gotta go, guys. I do apologize. I don't know. You're saying I'm trying to read this verbatim. Where are you up your BBC? Yeah, if you want to reframe that question, I'd be happy to answer it before I get off this live stream. Where are you up your BTC? I'm not currently holding any BTC, if that's what you're asking. I would love to take an entry at 2100. I mean, I would love to. I think anybody would love to take an entry at 2100. It'd be nice to get there. Maybe, you know, when I'm sleeping and I have those low ball orders in, maybe that's a possibility for it to hit that level. Okay, where am I buying my BTC? I mean, really, you could buy them on different exchanges. You know, there's so many different exchanges that you can use, but just make sure you trust them. But, you know, I do trust Bitfenix to an extent. To an extent. I shouldn't say 100%. To an extent. I mean, they have been hacked in the past. And Coinbase as well, too. But I also do have Gemini. I think Gemini could be hands down one of the best exchanges. It could be. They have the ability to. But they need to revamp some things. They need a better charting system. They need to add more coins. Right now, they only have Bitcoin and Ethereum. But if they can get a charting system like TradingView, that I would be using them hardcore heavily because I like their deposit availability. I mean, I can deposit $1,000 within a matter of a couple minutes, and it's all available instantly right away for me to place a trade. And that's the nice thing, you know, where a lot of these other exchanges, I mean, you know, for you to make a cash deposit, you got to wait 4 to 5 business days. But with Coinbase, I'm sorry, with Gemini, I can make a deposit before 5 p.m. of $500. After 5 p.m., I can make another $500 deposit. That's $1,000 that I can use instantly to purchase either Bitcoin or Ethereum. So Gemini has definitely the ability to be hands down one of the best exchanges, but they need a fix. And I mean, they definitely have the volume to support, you know, some of the things that a lot of these other exchanges have. So it's not like the volume is completely dry. The volume is there. They just need more of a better trading platform, a trading tool for day traders. But for investors, I think they're great. You know, for arbitrage, it might be great because you're able to buy it. And unfortunately, you do have to wait, you know, the 4 or 5 business days after you buy a cryptocurrency in order to transfer it because the funds from your bank account haven't really physically cleared yet to Gemini. But they're giving you the opportunity to use that money to buy and sell within Gemini. But their commission, you know, you're going to pay. You're going to pay on their commission. I know. I highly suggest Coinbase. I'm sorry, GDAX, which is owned by Coinbase. So GDAX is a trading platform that Coinbase owns. And if you're utilizing GDAX, which is gdax.com, and if you haven't set up a Coinbase account yet, please use the link at the bottom of this video. It will earn you $10 in Bitcoin, as well as earn, you know, CryptoTrader's Room $10 in Bitcoins. But really, that's the best way of not paying commission at all, is to utilize GDAX, their exchange platform, to put in those limit buy and limit sell orders, and you will not pay a dime in commission whatsoever. So if you're just starting out with, let's just say, $100 and you want to preserve that capital, you know, commissions will eat away at your profit and possibly eat away at your capital that you started out with. But that's the best way of starting out with it, you know, just a couple $100 and putting in those limit buys and limit sells, not paying any commission, and locking in those profits, and really watching that small account of $100 or $200 kind of grow into something bigger. You bought a blockchain, no ID needed. Yeah, when I set up my account at Bitfenix, there was no ID needed. But yeah, in order for me to deposit or withdraw USD, they require all my information, which I'm probably not going to provide that to them, considering I've already provided it to Gemini and Coinbase. But yeah, I'm just basically using Bitfenix for arbitrage. Now that they are charging fees for the transfer of coins, though, you know, I might not be arbitraging too much unless there's a significant gap in price where the profit is going to be favorable for me. Bob, I don't know if the DGB Minecraft setup goes live this weekend. I really have no clue, to be honest with you. If anybody knows, please answer that for Bob. But guys, I do hate to cut this short. My landlord is getting ready to show up pretty soon, and it's probably going to be pretty noisy in here, and I'm going to kind of take take the kids and get out of the house while he's showing the place. But if you guys do have any questions, any comments, please leave them at the end of this video. Once this video uploads to YouTube, you're able to leave comments, and I do my best to get to those comments. And if you haven't done so, join that CryptoTraders chat room, the free chat room that we're offering to anybody that's willing to sign up for our mailing list. It's a great community that's building. It's getting bigger every single day. So please do so. And then I will be on there at about 1:30-ish today. So from 1:30 to about 2 o'clock, 2:40, 2:30, I will be on there if you guys want to continue this conversation going. But thank you so much for joining. I do appreciate it. I appreciate the time that you guys spend on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays to kind of hear me talk about charting and trading and things like that, things that I'm passionate about and that I enjoy. And I hope to continue this conversation going further on our general chat room. So thank you so much for joining. I do appreciate it, guys. Enjoy your day, protect those profits, and definitely look at the support and resistance if you're looking for an entry. And then that's going to give you a better probability of getting a good entry instead of getting an entry and then having it dip to that support line. But you guys enjoy your day. Like I said, protect those profits.